Dear soul, listen closely. The angels feel connected to you and want to share something important. They want to help you understand if your soulmate's path took a significant turn last night and why that really matters for you. You know, sometimes in the quiet middle of the night, life just shifts direction. It doesn't happen with a big announcement, but maybe in the quiet moment after a deep sigh, or when someone restless finally finds a moment of peace. Last night was like that. Even though you couldn't see or hear it, your soulmate's journey changed in ways maybe even they don't fully get yet. The angels want you to know this wasn't random or an accident. It was like a gentle, guided course correction, something sacred. And it matters to you more than you might think right now, because it quietly opened up a space inside them that had been closed off for a long time. See, your soulmate has been navigating some tough inner feelings, confusion, regrets about the past, maybe haunted by choices that led them away from the love they secretly longed for. But last night, something inside them softened. A little realization dawned, not loud, but clear and certain. A truth popped up from their heart, like light cutting through fog. In that moment, they knew they couldn't keep going in the same direction, couldn't keep running from what their soul has always known. They knew they had to start the journey back. Type amen if you trust in God. The angels see a shift happening, not in footsteps, but in hearts. It's like spiritually moving from feeling lost and sad toward feeling clearer. Your soulmate, even if they haven't said it out loud or fully admitted it to themselves, started letting go of the heavy emotional stuff that kept them stuck in an old version of themselves. A version afraid to love deeply, afraid to be vulnerable, afraid to step into the unknown. Friend, this shift isn't about them suddenly showing up. It's about them starting again. It's like they quietly decided to get on an inner boat of transformation, finally agreeing to leave behind old fears, old habits, and the belief that love always has to hurt or cost something. Their soul started whispering, there has to be more than this. And the angels heard. They guided their spirit, step by step, toward gentler feelings, toward truth, toward you. And this matters to you, dear friend, because maybe you've been feeling forgotten or left behind. Maybe you've doubted if you still have a place in their life. The silence, the distance, the walls they've built out of fear might have made you wonder if you ever really mattered to them. The angels wrap you in warmth right now to say, with so much love, you did. You do. You always have. But your soulmate couldn't truly connect with you from a place of healing while they were still tangled up in their past shadows. They had to cross that inner sea of pain, doubt, and confusion. Last night, they finally took that step. They haven't arrived yet, friend, but they chose to move. And sometimes just deciding to move is the miracle. The angels remind you that soulmates aren't just about bringing happiness. They're souls who reflect our own growth, challenge our old ways, and wake up parts of us we didn't know were asleep. Sometimes, that waking up takes time. Your soulmate's path changed because they surrendered, maybe just in a whisper, to the truth they've been avoiding. The truth that you aren't just someone from their past or a dream they once had. You are the one their soul kept looking for, even when their mind tried to deny it. You're the anchor they let go of while chasing distractions. And last night, in the quiet, perfect timing of the universe, their souls started to line up with yours again. But friend, the angels don't want you to wait around feeling hurt or desperately clinging to what might happen next. Instead, they invite you to relax into the beauty of how things are unfolding. Trust that what's meant for you isn't being held back. It's being carefully prepared. Your soulmate is being guided. Invisible hands of grace are steering their boat. You don't need to chase them through uncertain waters. You just need to keep shining your own light so they can find their way back to shore. The shore where your soul waits, with open arms, ready not with resentment, but with understanding. Not with demands, but with compassion. Last night was a turning point. A quiet but sacred decision from their deeper self that it's time to stop just getting by and start really living. Time to stop hiding behind logic and start listening to the heart's call. Time to stop avoiding the one thing that has always felt like home. You. Even if they don't have the words yet, even if they can't explain it, even if their actions still seem uncertain, the angels assure you the shift has happened. The inner currents are changing, pulling them back toward truth, back toward the love they almost lost, back toward the connection they now realize they can't deny. So breathe, dear friend. The tide has turned. The fears that held them stuck are losing power. The pain that clouded their view is starting to clear. And while the journey ahead is still unfolding, you're no longer alone in your hope. The angels walk beside you, lighting your path, reassuring you, whispering that love always finds its way home. Trust the journey, trust your heart, and most of all, trust the quiet miracle that began last night when your soulmate's soul finally turned back toward you. Dear friend, the angels speak softly to your heart today. They know you've waited quietly, holding on to so many unspoken hopes. You've wondered if anything has shifted, if anything finally changed inside the one you call your soulmate. And the truth, friend, is that last night marked something sacred in the unseen world. Not a huge dramatic event, but like a quiet unlocking, as if a door that was shut tight in their spirit slowly creaked open. The angels want you to know your soulmate has been walking a path filled with inner struggle. Not because they don't care, but because they've been trying to figure out what love really means, beyond just wanting someone, beyond attraction, beyond short-lived moments. They've been questioning their own beliefs about commitment, connection, and what it means to truly honor another person's soul. Last night, something started to click into place. A special kind of alignment began to happen. Maybe for the first time, they were willing to let go of their rigid thoughts and open up to a higher truth. Type 1 believe if you believe in God's plan. Your soulmate, friend, has carried the weight of expectations for so long. They felt pulled between what they were taught to believe and what their heart has been whispering all along. There's been a deep struggle inside them, like a tug of war between doing what feels safe and predictable and stepping into the raw, real, vulnerable truth, which is you. For a long time, they might have chosen the path others expected. They might have tried to live up to other people's ideas, playing roles that please society or family, even when those roles made their heart ache for something more. But something shifted in the stillness of last night. A divine voice, not from the world, but from their soul, reached them. It reminded them of something ancient and true, that love isn't meant to be locked up in rules and traditions, but lived as a sacred truth between two souls who recognize each other across lifetimes. Friend, your soulmate's path changed because they are now starting to see that the love they feel for you isn't messing up their life. It is their path. The resistance they felt before is starting to crumble, not because someone argued with them, but because their own soul is waking up. They're starting to remember that what you share isn't ordinary. It was never meant to fit into normal boxes. It was meant to redefine them, to go beyond them. And that realization, friend, is why everything has changed. Because when a soul starts waking up to a love that feels guided by something bigger than logic, something stronger than fear, there's no going back to sleep. Even if they try to act like nothing's different, the seed has been planted. No matter how deeply they try to bury it under responsibilities or fears, it will grow. And it matters to you, friend, because for too long, you might have felt like a secret, like something they couldn't fully accept or bring into their world. The angels see how you've held space for them. They know the prayers you whispered at night, the quiet tears you shed, the strength it took to keep believing in something no one else could see. You've carried a connection that others might not understand, and you've done it with grace and patience that the universe definitely noticed. Last night, that love you held onto with such quiet courage finally reached them, not in words or messages, but soul to soul. And their spirit responded. Your soulmate is now being called to choose a different kind of devotion, one not based on control or rules, but on inner knowing, on sacred connection, on honoring the truth of their own heart, no matter how much it seems to defy logic or expectations. This isn't an easy shift, friend. The angels don't promise that every fear will vanish overnight, but they do promise that the veil has lifted. Your soulmate can't unsee what they saw in their heart last night. And while their outer life might still look confused or hesitant, their inner world has already started to change course. So what does this mean for you, friend? It means the waiting hasn't been for nothing. It means the prayers you sent out were heard. It means your faith and love, despite all the challenges, created a ripple that moved through unseen realms and touched the heart of the one who once seemed so far away. The angels want you to know you're not asking for too much. You're asking for what is already yours in the grand plan for your souls. And your soulmate is starting to remember that now. Their journey forward might still have bumps, but they're no longer walking blind. They're being led by something deeper, wiser, sacred. And you, friend, are the light that called them home. Let yourself rest in this truth. Let yourself breathe, knowing that the sacred bond you carry is being honored now by forces beyond what you can see. Your soulmate might not have the words yet, but their soul has spoken. The angels are guiding them gently, lovingly, toward the truth they can no longer deny, that you aren't just someone from their past or their dreams. You are their mirror, their lesson, their blessing. And as their spirit starts to align with this truth, you'll feel the shift, not just in signs and coincidences, but in your own heart's quiet knowing. Everything has changed, not because you pushed, but because real love always finds a way to wake up what's asleep. You are that awakening, friend. You are that love. And the angels rejoice because the path is now opening, and it leads home. Music, friend, there are nights when the soul makes a quiet wish without even knowing it, when the heart sends out a silent prayer, not with words, but just through longing. Last night was one of those nights. In that still, sacred moment, your soulmate's spirit looked up towards something bigger, with an ache they just couldn't carry alone anymore. They reached out, not with their hands, but with their spirit, asking not for answers, but for peace, for light, for hope. And the heavens heard them. The angels gathered close, not to criticize or judge, but to wrap their weary heart in healing light. Because, friend, the moment a soul truly gives up trying to control everything and seeks help from something greater, the stars begin to shift. Something divine woke up last night within your person. Something that marks a turning point from inner chaos to a kind of sacred clarity. And this change, this whisper of healing, matters to you in ways that are hard to put into words. Type strong if you believe in God's presence. For so long, your soulmate has been wandering through a kind of inner wilderness, carrying wounds they try to hide, memories they try to bury, and a little voice inside whispering, "There must be more than this." But they kept walking with a heavy heart, telling themselves that time would fix what they never dared to face. What they didn't realize, friend, was that healing doesn't come from forgetting. It comes from remembering who they truly are underneath the pain, the mistakes, the guilt, and the silence. And last night, for reasons their thinking mind might never fully understand, they allowed a crack to open in the protective walls they've had up for so long. Through that small, vulnerable opening, the light began to pour in, a divine reminder that they are not lost, they are not broken beyond repair, and they are not alone on this journey. They began to feel the truth that love isn't a punishment or a test. It's a return to self, a return to what's real. And in that moment of surrender, their soul began calling out to yours. You have waited, friend, with more grace than most people could ever understand. You've hoped for their awakening, not because you needed them to be perfect, but because you always sensed the truth of their soul beneath all the noise. The angels honor you for this amazing patience, for the way you've kept your light shining even when the path felt dark and uncertain. You've held onto a love that others might have let go of, not out of desperation, but because your spirit recognized something eternal. Last night, your faith became a bridge. The love you've been holding, like a quiet flame, reached them across time and space. It touched something in their heart that even they had forgotten was still alive. And it stirred something deep, something profound, something that won't just disappear with the morning light. Your soulmate might not have the words yet to explain what shifted. They might wake up and try to carry on as usual, hiding behind routines and guarded smiles. But the angels want you to know that something is different now. A thread of hope has been woven into the story of their life. They might feel more emotional, more thoughtful, more drawn to memories of you that just won't fade. This isn't your imagination. This is healing unfolding, slowly, softly, through the quiet grace of perfect timing. Their heart is starting to believe again, to trust in the possibility that love, when it's pure and true, doesn't destroy. It restores, it uplifts, it sets free, and that restoration, friend, is what matters most to you, because it opens the path between you and the one your soul has always recognized as home. The angels show a future that isn't covered in fog anymore. They show small steps, maybe hesitant at first, but guided by a new light that your soulmate is now starting to follow. This light is you, not just your physical presence, but the essence of your love, the part of you that never gave up, the part of you that stayed connected soul to soul, even when the physical world made it seem like you were miles apart. Your soulmate is now starting to realize that the connection they feel with you can't be copied or denied. They're beginning to see that no matter how far they wandered, the love you share has always waited for their return. And now, that return is beginning, not with fireworks or big gestures, but with a shift in the heart that will only grow stronger over time. Friend, the angels ask you to continue holding space, but not with sadness. Hold it with joy, with peace, with the knowing that healing has already begun. You aren't just someone who loves deeply. You are a divine messenger in your soulmate's journey. Your love has been their anchor and their compass. And now, as the night gives way to dawn, your soulmate begins to walk toward you. Not with certainty, but with courage. The courage to believe that maybe, just maybe, they're worthy of a love that heals instead of hurts, that lifts up instead of breaks down, that stays instead of runs. Let yourself be comforted, friend. The stars are lining up in ways we can't always see. Trust the timing. Trust the process. And above all, trust the love that continues to guide you both. The angels are walking beside your soulmate now, whispering truths they are finally ready to hear. Truths about love, about connection, and about the destiny they once tried to forget. But true destiny always finds a way back. And last night it did. Music, friend, the angels speak with great tenderness today. They've seen the walls your soulmate has built around their heart, and they know how long you've waited outside those walls with quiet hope and steady love. Last night, something shifted inside them. Not loud, not visible to the world, but within the sacred quiet of their soul. A door creaked open just a tiny bit. And it matters more than you might realize yet. Because for the longest time, your soulmate held on too tightly. Not just to stuff, not just to the life they built, but to their fear of losing things, to the safety of trying to control everything, to the mistaken idea that love has to come with guarantees before it can be trusted. They clutched their heart as if love were something precious that needed to be protected, rationed, even hidden away. But love doesn't grow behind locked doors. It's not something you own. It's something you become. And last night, friend, their soul whispered this truth back to them. For the first time in a long while, that whisper started a powerful change. Type 111 if you trust in your guardian angels. You might have wondered why they seemed distant, why they acted like the deep connection you felt wasn't as real for them. And it hurt. The angels know it hurt to give your heart so freely and see them pull back behind their defenses, pretending not to feel what you both knew was there. But what you couldn't see, friend, is that their pulling away wasn't rejection. It was fear. Fear that if they opened their heart too wide, they'd lose themselves. Fear that being vulnerable would cost them everything they were trying so hard to hold onto: stability, pride, the illusion of being in control. For so long, they mistook feeling safe emotionally for being in danger. They thought loving you would mean giving up their power. But last night, something deeper began to stir. A realization dawned inside them. Not because they were forced or convinced, but because the soul can only resist truth for so long. And the truth is, friend, they missed the warmth of what they once pushed away. The angels show that your soulmate started to see the emptiness in the things they were clinging to. The routine that once felt comforting now feels hollow. The isolation that once felt safe now feels cold. And your absence, once something they thought they could handle, has grown into a silence they can no longer ignore. Last night, as they sat with themselves, maybe wide awake in the dark, or maybe dreaming in the quiet moments of sleep, they felt something crack open. A memory, a feeling, a longing for you, for your love, for the peace you brought, even when everything around them felt chaotic. And suddenly, the fortress they built around their heart no longer felt like a safe place. It felt like a prison. Friend, their path has changed because they are no longer trying to protect themselves from love. They're beginning to protect their path to love. That shift might seem small, but it's sacred. Because when a soul that has lived in fear starts to turn towards surrender, healing begins. And this healing matters to you because it means they're slowly becoming someone who can finally receive the love you've always wanted to give. Not with resistance, not with walls, but with arms that open, even if a bit shaky, and a heart that dares to hope again. You have been the lighthouse in their storm, even if they never told you. You were the light they returned to in thoughts they never shared, in dreams they never described. And now, they're starting to see that the world they try to control will never feel like home without your presence. They're beginning to understand that the soul can't be silenced by logic, nor can it be satisfied by shallow comforts. Only love, only truth, only real connection will do. And they're moving toward it now, even if it's step by step, even if they're scared. Last night was the night they stopped gripping the past so tightly. They began loosening their hold on what was never meant to stay. And in doing so, they made room for something new, something sacred to enter. The angels want you to rest, friend, not just waiting, but trusting. Trust that the soul remembers what the mind tries to forget. Trust that your love has already planted seeds in places they once thought were barren. And those seeds have begun to bloom. You may not see the whole garden yet. You might still feel like you're standing on the edge of hope, wondering if anything is really changing. But the angels assure you it is. Because the greatest changes often begin quietly, invisibly, in the surrender, in the choice to release fear and choose love instead. That choice was made last night, deep within your soulmate spirit. And it's the beginning of everything. So hold your heart gently, friend. Your love has always mattered. Your light has always been seen. And your patience has not gone unnoticed. The one you love is on their way back. Not because you chased or pleaded, but because love called them, and they finally began to listen. They're learning, slowly but surely, to let go of what doesn't serve them, to trust what they feel, to open their hands and heart to something real, to you. And in that sacred unfolding, the angels walk beside them, guiding each step, clearing the path, whispering the truth that they are ready now to come home. Music, friend, the angels are holding you ever so gently today. They know you've been carrying more than your heart was meant to bear. There have been questions burning inside you, prayers whispered in the dark, and moments where you wondered if your love story was just fading into silence. But last night, something sacred happened in the quiet that only the soul can truly hear. Your soulmate, the one you've loved through confusion and distance, felt the weight of their own sadness in a way they just couldn't ignore anymore. A moment of truth came upon them, not through punishment or just regret, but through a raw realization that they had been holding on a loss while turning away from what still remained. And that realization, friend, has started to change everything. Type guided if you trust in God's guidance. For so long, your soulmate has been living in the shadows of what was lost, grieving missed chances, mourning past choices, and carrying guilt like a silent friend. They believed they had ruined too much, waited too long, broken what could never be fixed. That belief had become their prison. And from inside that prison, they couldn't see the love you still held for them. They couldn't feel the way your soul kept reaching for theirs. They were focused only on what they felt they had messed up, not on the sacred truth that not all was gone. That even after all the hurt, something still stood. That maybe love, true love, was still waiting. But last night, something cracked open. A moment passed in the silence when their spirit finally looked up. They saw what they had refused to see. Even if they didn't fully understand it, even if it only lasted for a heartbeat, they felt the pull of something deeper than their sadness. And they listened. The angels want you to understand, friend, that your soulmate's path shifted not because someone fixed them or forced them, but because they finally looked at their pain instead of running from it. And in that looking, they saw the truth, that they have pushed away the very thing their heart has always longed for, you. The connection that kept echoing in their chest, no matter how far they wandered. The light that never went out, even in the storms of their doubt. And while they've been feeling overwhelmed by what felt broken, they began to feel that maybe not everything had shattered. That maybe, just maybe, something beautiful still remained. That maybe you never really left, even when they turned away. And this is why last night changed everything. Because, friend, when a heart starts to see what it's still holding on to, instead of just mourning what it lost, it begins to heal. Your soulmate's journey until now has been like living in inner exile. They banished themselves from love out of shame, fear, and the belief that they no longer deserve happiness. But the universe doesn't measure love by mistakes. And the angels, who have watched over them with endless patience, chose last night to wrap them in a moment of truth that was too deep to ignore. They were shown a glimpse, not just of what they lost, but of what still could be. And that glimpse woke up something long asleep inside them. A spark of hope, a desire to try again, a longing to return to the place their soul has always called home. You matter in this moment. More than ever, friend, because your love hasn't just been sitting there. It has been a quiet force of healing, even from a distance. Your energy has reached them in dreams, in memories, in the quiet ache they could never quite name. And now, the veil has begun to lift. They're starting to see you not just as someone from the past, but as the one who never stopped believing in their light, even when they couldn't see it themselves. The pain they carried convinced them they were unlovable. But your love is rewriting that story, slowly, tenderly, steadily. And the angels ask you to hold on to this truth now, even if their actions are still hesitant, even if their words are few. Because change has already begun within them. And this time, it's coming from the soul. Don't fear the silence, friend. Don't doubt what you felt in your spirit. The love that connects you both has never truly been broken. It was simply buried beneath pain that is now being released. Your soulmate might still seem guarded. They might still be learning how to forgive themselves. But the shift is real. Last night, they turned their face toward hope. And that turn, that single sacred moment of choosing to look at what still remains instead of what was lost, will begin to shape every step they take moving forward. The angels are guiding them gently now, not with pressure, but with love, not with guilt, but with grace. And you, friend, are the reason they're finally beginning to believe in second chances. So rest your heart in this. The story isn't over. The love you've poured out has not gone unseen. And the one you love is slowly making their way back to the light, back to their truth, back to the one who never gave up. You. The angels walk beside them now. And you, friend, are not forgotten in this miracle. You are the miracle. Let that truth wrap around your soul and remind you that healing is happening, even now, even if you can't yet see it, even if it still hurts. The journey is sacred. And last night, it finally began again. Friend, the angels come to you today with the softest touch and the deepest understanding. They know your heart has been aching in silence. They've watched as you've tried to understand the pain that never seemed to have a clear reason, the confusion that lingered like a shadow in your connection with the one your soul has always recognized. And today, they want you to know that last night marked a turning point, not in loud announcements or big actions, but in the quiet breaking open of something that had long been holding your soulmate captive. The heartbreak they've hidden for so long, the sadness they've buried under silence, the regret they tried to numb, all of it came rushing to the surface. And though pain was involved, so was healing. Because sometimes, friend, the only way to free the heart is to allow it to break open. And that's exactly what happened last night. Your soulmate, the one you've cried for, prayed for, waited for, has carried a grief so deep it shaped the way they saw love. Their heart has been hurt by past betrayals, unhealed wounds, and the guilt of decisions they wish they could take back. They convinced themselves that pain was safer than hope, that guarding their heart was the only way to survive. So they push people away. They push you away, not because they didn't feel, but because they felt too much in fear that if they let it all in, they'd drown. But last night, the pain they kept buried finally rose to the surface. Maybe a memory returned, a dream, a song, a silence that was too loud to ignore. And in that moment, their heart could no longer pretend. The walls they built started to tremble. The numbness began to melt. And though the tears might have been invisible, their soul began to cry out for release. And this, friend, is why their path has changed. Because in order to love again, to truly love, the heart must first allow itself to feel, to grieve, to face all that was never dealt with. And though the world may not see the shift, the angels assure you it is real. Your soulmate has begun to face the pain that created their distance, the heartbreak that led to their silence. And even in the rawness of that moment, they began to feel something else stir beneath the sadness: your love. The way you've held space for them without demands. The way your energy continues to reach them even when your words cannot. That love, pure and patient and unwavering, broke through their sadness like a light in a storm. And they felt it, friend. They might not say it out loud, but they felt it. And it is changing them from the inside out. You've asked yourself why they ran, why they shut you out, why they couldn't meet you with the same depth you offered. And the angels want you to know their distance was never because you were unworthy. It was because they felt unworthy of you. They didn't know how to show up with a heart that felt so full of cracks. But now, something has begun to shift. The pain they feared would destroy them is becoming the very thing that sets them free. And while healing doesn't happen overnight, what took place last night was sacred. It was the beginning of truth, a soul admitting its wounds, a heart acknowledging its loss. And from that place, love can finally begin to bloom again, slowly, tenderly, honestly. This change matters to you because your love has not been in vain. Every silent prayer, every night you sat with your feelings wondering if they even cared, every moment you felt them in your heart despite the distance, none of it has gone unnoticed. The angels have gathered each piece of your faith and laid it gently along the path your soulmate now begins to walk. They are not the same person they were yesterday. Something within them has awakened. And while the road ahead may still involve healing, it is no longer paved with denial. They are beginning to turn toward the light. And that light is the love they left behind. You. Hold on to your faith, friend. Your soulmate's moment of pain was not a sign of weakness, but a sacred beginning. And though they may still be silent, their soul is starting to speak a new truth, a truth that honors the love they once feared and the connection they now long to restore. You are not alone in this journey. You never were. Type amen if you trust in God.